And welcome back. Welcome to season 2. So
Welcome.
before we move on, Ribsy, that was genius.
Thank you so much.
Exactly, that was brilliant. So Ribsy literally messaged us a few days ago being like, send me some stuff, I've got an idea. So that was the idea. So yes, we now have an advert, a trailer. The step to us being commissioned by BBC is one step closer. No, thank you so much, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome. This is amazing. We've taken a couple of weeks, as you guys know. We've had some thoughts. The captains, the group of captains, and we've made some changes for season 2. So we don't have a guest tonight. That won't always be true. But the one thing that is true tonight and will continue to be is we're going to be having themed episodes. So rather than bringing someone on and then just seeing where it goes, we are going to try and make things a little bit focused, jump around a few topics that I think is important, and we'll go. So today, we are going to be doing the half-time or half-term report, depends on what analogy you like, for 2020 from a photographic point of view. We can separately do a 2020 report on other things, but let's keep it on film photography. So before we carry on, welcome guys, how you doing?
Hello.
Welcome. Yeah,
Are you excited
very good.
for season 2?
Yeah.
For sure. Halftime is a big thing. I'm American and we watch American football, obviously. So, we watch soccer as well. Anyways, the point is, I feel like this is you're losing the game, the whole first quarter, just getting smacked around, and then for whatever reason, 5 minutes left in the half, you bring it back, and you kind of make up for lost time. So I'm excited for what comes next.
I've seen a lot of American football over my life, and there's a lot of statistics at halftime, a lot of diagrams. Are you going to be doing that for us?
Not quite.
Okay, fine.
I can try.
Oh.
And Marina, how are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. Really excited to be here again with all you guys, and with some, as we promised, new fresh content and a lot of surprises as well. So yeah, I'm very excited to be with you guys.
Brilliant. So one of the things we talked about as well was wanting to get back to making sure that we're involving you guys more and giving away film or goodies. I think we're going to say goodies in general because who knows what will happen across season 2. But the very first opportunity to do so is going to be asking you to input on some of your ideas and what's been going on. So the way that the show is going to work is the first half is going to be us talking about sort of the last 6 months, how it's been for us, what have we done photographically, any photos we're proud of. I'm going to share some of them with you. If you'd like to share some images with us, I've got Twitter and Instagram open in the background. We can share screen. If you use the hashtag Analogue Television, they will pop up. So if you want to share any photos that you've taken so far this year with a little bit of a story, I'll be able to pull them up and drop them back in. There's going to be a quiz halfway through, but massive, what's the right word? Plot twist. There we go, plot twist. You guys are going to be the contestants. So we are going to do how well do you know analog television, questions from the past, and the winner will get a goodie bag of film. So please wait around for that. If you want to start trying to watch all of the episodes in the next 20 minutes sped up, feel free. That would be pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And then
maybe you'll find the answer then.
Exactly, if you know. And then in the last part, we're going to be talking about sort of the next 6 months, what we all hope to achieve. And again, please feel free to chip in on the side. And also, we're going to keep it to an hour. That's the dream, the plan. To that end, I'm not going to start drinking whiskey halfway through because those are the episodes that tend to go on a little bit longer as my idea of time starts to drip. All right then, straight into it. Marina, kick us off. 2020 halftime report. How's it been for you?
Right. Well, I guess in terms of photographic production has been like a little bit of unexpected year for everyone. But in my case, I will divide my photographic production in 2 parts. So before all the current situation happened, I went to Mallorca, which is my hometown. And at that moment, well, there it happened the most like magical and the most intimate and personal photo shoot that I've done in my life, which was when I took photos of my mother, and also I took photos of my dad. I don't know, it's like, I don't know, in the case of my mother, I have never considered to portray my mother as the beautiful woman as she is. So, you know, leaving this aside that she's my mother, I don't know, I think it was the most intense photo shoot that I've done so far. And the same happens with when I took photos of my father. I've never had the chance to actually, you know, take photos at him, like leaving aside that he's my father, just portray him as a man, as I see him. So for me, it was one of my important things that happened in the first part. And the second part would be right after the lockdown has been established. And, you know, that's when I experienced, as many of you, as everyone, an emotional roller coaster. And, you know, this first period, was when I was quite confused with everything that was happening, and perhaps a little bit more sensitive than normal. So, but however, I said in that moment, okay, let's analyzing what is happening to me and what reflections I can get out of this. So that's why I created a little series called the Isolation. So Isolation, sorry. So, yeah, you know, it's just I wanted to portray how I felt that time, like the fact that the world has stopped in such a way that we had a global opportunity to look at ourselves and how we always look for the false stability idea. But, you know, in reality, life has already shown that it doesn't exist, like the stability that is like we live in uncertain times all the time, not only because the thing just happened, blah, 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 just so you know. But, and then, well, I said roller coaster as well, because after that, when I was immersed, I immersed myself in a really dark black hole in which, I don't know, I wasn't feel really very great in general. And that's when I already said it in public, but the imposter syndrome really kicked in me. Like I had that, yeah, it became very bigger in those times. And in case that someone doesn't know what is imposter syndrome, I'll sum it up super quickly. It's basically having like whatever you do is shit. Radio FM 24 hours per day. So yeah, I say it publicly in my Instagram stories, like, look, I have this problem, but I'm just tired of this. But anyway, so say it in public, you know, allowed me to be, you know, the bright side and everything. And that's why when I put a challenge to myself, which is because I was tired of being like with this imposter syndrome. So I done a challenge to myself of taking photographs during 3 weeks with only cameras, like point and shoot cameras, super like plastic and crappy, the most crappy cameras. And the most important thing, to publish the photos so that I can really kick that imposter syndrome right in the bum. So, yeah, it's just, you know, and that's why after those 3 weeks, I thought, okay, as I'm going to publish it, what I'm going to do is to make a zine. So yes, it's basically it's almost ready, the zine, and just wanted to transmit the transition between my dark and negative world to then when I started to see the bright side and enjoy the little things, I actually love myself. And yeah, so very soon will be in my in the If With Them page, the zine. So I'm very excited about that. So that was my self-reflection about this. Sorry for being too long.
No,
but yes,
that was lovely. And hopefully I was lining up the photos as they went through reasonably well. But I think a lot of us can probably, understand the imposter syndrome, but also understand going through dark periods over the last 6 months. Ribsy, as you listened through to that, did anything resonate in particular, or?
Yeah. I think the imposter syndrome as the big idea there's no question that infiltrates everybody's mind, especially like, the classic problem with social media is you see what everybody else is doing and then you instantly compare yourself. So on a daily basis, whether it's in a small way or in like a big, like bad way for your mental health, you just kind of randomly be like, man, my photos suck. Or like, why am I even taking all these photos? I don't like any of them. Or, I'm spending all this money on film and what is it for? Like, why? So I definitely have those questions pop up, like, I would say regularly. I don't know how regularly, but they definitely happen. So I definitely commiserate with that. Like, you're not alone on that one at all.
Wow.
Thank you.
No, and it's good you put it out there because I think people need to see others like experience that and then be okay with it because it is going to happen.
So that's why I started that challenge, like, because so basically the imposter syndrome is actually like seeking perfection as well.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, then let's do the opposite. Let's take some crappy cameras and take photos and actually publish them. So that actually taught me to enjoy taking photographs. Like, it's okay, not like being so technical at all.
No,
that's
awesome. I think that's one of the reasons I like shooting film overall is because I find myself being less interested in perfection at all. It kind of removes that. There's so many different variables, especially if you do all the steps on your own, that you're gonna not do something perfectly somewhere, let alone maybe even mess up an entire step. So it's great to kind of be free from those expectations.
And I think it's right as well what you're saying, Ribsy, about somebody stepping out and actually saying that, because you look from the outside, and Marina, you've exploded onto the film photography scene. You added 10,000 followers on Instagram faster than most people I've seen able to do it, and I think it would be easy for you to hide that and not, people not see that. So the fact that you were brave enough, I think, to say it on Instagram, but then also follow it up with some artistic processing of it. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. All right then, Ribsy, how's your 2020 been?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we fast forward to the present time, I just came back from a great trip. Don't cue the photos up yet because I'm gonna completely go in the opposite direction. But
sure.
Culminated in that, which we can talk about in a second. But I think if you go all the way back to, let's say, February, when things really started to heat up, at least maybe abroad and not yet in London or in the UK, I realized once kind of lockdown was like an official thing and everybody was stuck inside, I almost realized this without realizing it. Like I didn't know at the time that this was happening, but I learned the fact that photography has this entire side of it that is very conducive to being alone. Making photos themselves. Obviously, you can do that indoors. Maybe you can even do it on your own as a self-portrait. But for the most part, you're outside. You're doing stuff in a studio or wherever you are. The complete other side of film photography, which involves developing, processing, printing, all of that stuff, that all happens inside and oftentimes on your own, in your own space. In my case, in my own bathroom. So I dove into that and just like completely got obsessed with it and just started messing around like a little mad scientist. And I didn't know at the time that like, oh, duh, like this is the part of photography that involves staying home and like doing stuff on your own. I was just doing it because I was like really intrigued and interested. And eventually I realized, wow, photography is conducive to this isolation period in a lot of ways. So I spent the first, I'd say 3 months from March till after that, just messing around. Like I would go on my daily walks and stuff, bring a point and shoot or bring whatever, take a bunch of photos, come home, and then start to just go crazy in the darkroom, whether developing them normally or cross-processing, trying all kinds of different scanning methods, like really just breaking things down, either for the sake of just seeing what happens or for really trying to like root out some essential things. I then started like, I bought a scanner a while back and I was using that all the time. Then I decided, you know what, like, let's see if I can get really good quality stuff with my digital camera. So I started messing around with that. And then like I ran into all these issues and I started troubleshooting that. I just learned a lot by messing around and getting dirty. So that was basically the entirety of lockdown up until, let's say, last month. when I could finally start going outside and start to maybe do some things that are a bit more normal per se. And then leading up to last week, I finally went on a vacation. We all need a vacation, even though we've been inside kind of relaxing for a lot of this time. And I went to the Lake District in the UK, drove up there, and it was just incredible. It was exactly what my mind needed. It's exactly what my photography needed. Just being outside, moving a ton, hiking everywhere. And the place is beautiful, so there's photos everywhere. So, you hike up, you start hiking up a mountain, you get up, not even like 30 minutes up, and you turn around, and you're like, holy shit, look at that view. And that happens over and over and over again, let alone when you get to the top of whatever summit you're going to, and the view just gets even crazier. So did a lot of that.
And I'm just pausing on one of the photos.
Yeah.
So did you go with a model for Berghaus and take these photos on the top of the mountain with this guy?
No. That's my fiance there. He's hiding under that massive red jacket. It's funny that photo. So we climbed Scafell Pike that day, which is the tallest peak in all of England. And, the whole hike, we took this really long route because we wanted to A, kind of take our time, and B, digest the scenery and all that. There's a fast way you can go that just kind of is a staircase all the way up to the top, and it takes half as much time. But anyways, we did the long way. We got to the summit. It was great. And then on the way down, instead of following the normal route again, we decided to take, some other route. Eventually, we realized it wasn't really a route. It wasn't really marked in any way, but we started hanging out where all the sheep were hanging out, aka away from people, just like in these random hills. Incredible views, big grassy plains. And that photo you see there, that's taken from right after we had kind of just descended this really sketchy part of this fake route. And, I saw that view and I was like, wow, that's crazy. And then I was like, wait a minute, let me pull out my Agfa. And the Agfa is a fully mechanical camera from the 50s, medium format. It has a rangefinder, but it's uncoupled. So you have to, look through the rangefinder, see what the number is, and then put that on the front of the lens by twisting the focusing thing. So anyways, the point there is there's a long process to take this photo, but I said, you know what? I'm here, might as well. I'm tired. This is a good reason to take a break. So I stopped, took that photo, and I knew it was going to be good, but you never really know until you actually see it later. And yeah, the view just does it on its own. I didn't have to do anything but, set up the camera and press the button. The view and the clouds and the lake that's there, just everything is crazy. So yeah, I culminated my first half of what year is this? 2020? Yeah. My first half of 2020 with this amazing trip for photography, and I shot 12 rolls of film. I developed all of them in less than 36 hours and scanned.
Wow.
And I was motivated by a YouTube video. I wanted to make a video and pump it out ASAP. So yeah, hoping to see where I go from here, because that's a pretty big way to go out at the end of the half. Hopefully, like in the sports analogy I was saying earlier, hopefully I don't bomb and just I get beat for the rest of the game.
Yeah, the other team come out flying and you're like, oh man, that was the one highlight.
Exactly.
No, that's brilliant. And then, so is that video then out now? So shameless plug.
Yes.
If people want to see more of Epic Ribsy, and
I definitely.
You have to watch it, guys. Honestly,
it's there's a lot of I told you 12 rolls of film, and I decided I had about 160 keepers, and from those 160, you probably see 40 of them on the video. And it's my latest video on YouTube. So
Ben's also asked, and this was a question that came up, I think when I can't remember who was on the show when we were talking about this before. Did you do developing while you're on the trip? So did you go up with the little?
I'm glad you asked that question.
You sat there with the sheep, using the sheep dip to develop rolls, anything like that?
The answer is no, and not because I didn't want to or I didn't try, but ultimately I was warned against the drainage systems in some of these houses in the middle of nowhere. So I decided it wasn't good of me to pour these chemicals down the drain. So I ended up doing none of it. But my plan was to do so. I'm glad I didn't, though. It was nice to just take photos and not think about it and just keep pumping them and not worry about them at all.
No, that's fantastic. Yeah, for people who haven't been, the Lake District is...
I haven't been there.
Incredible.
So I should go then.
All right, Analogue Television trip. The captains in the lakes. We'll do it.
On Paul.
Yeah. No, brilliant. Thank you so much. Okay, then that, I suppose, leaves me. So, what have I been doing? Well, Yeah, I think like quite a few of us are saying that it feels like the last 6 months have been divided up into some pre and post occasions. And for me, definitely the plan before lockdown happened and everything was to enjoy shooting some films that were sort of new last year, had come out, and I hadn't got around to shooting yet. So, and that was sort of going well. So Metropolis, I enjoyed a lot of Metropolis. Here we have Hussein on 35mm. I really enjoyed portraits with Metropolis. That's one of the things I really found works really, really well. But also on 110. So this is my lovely wife. Great portrait there, using a little, again, a crappy little point and shoot 110. But then I think when lockdown then hit, and in particular with all the fact that the regulations for businesses and nurseries closing, so we then had a child to look after 100% of the time. My time and my headspace, I think, got super squeezed, like almost overnight, and I definitely realized after a few weeks that I was just not shooting anything at all, because either I was like fully in on the business stuff, trying to make things either happen or adapting to what we needed to do in the moment, or looking after a toddler, or doing the bits around Lifeman that you have, and even when I was then going for a walk or going outside at all, I just was just not in that, that space. I don't know whether anyone else found that. But then actually it was one of the things that was really cool is in talking to Matt Day, and he has the whole, document your life sort of saying, motto, which is a bit of a, I don't know, I think it's relevant regardless, but I think for me I had it as a bit of a wake-up call of don't think about it so much. But also I don't know, I think I was feeling the pressure of there's always really cool films to try, there's always lovely stuff to do, this project, and actually maybe a bit like you, Marina, actually what I needed to do was I just needed to shoot some films. So what I did actually was, I don't know if anyone on Twitter might have seen the FP4 party, which is once a year or twice a year. And I'm not sure where this started, but it's basically everyone just has a massive FP4 love fest and just shoots FP4 and just submits on that. I mean, there's not an HP5 one or a Delta one, it's just FP4 gets this love. And that was, I think, March, and is one that I wanted to do. I'd load up a camera and then it just totally gone. But then I decided in April I'd just do it anyway. So way after it was meant to happen, I just was like, no, I'm going to spend time and just shoot a roll of FP4. And that's what I did. And then I actually home developed it. I home scanned it, which was the first time, again, that I'd really got that kind of stuff out and sorted and settled for the first time. And I just sort of embraced that whole, just shoot stuff and don't worry about it so much. Which I think really helped because since then I have shot so much, so much random stuff, and also enjoyed it a lot more. And I think it's got back into that whole you don't have to be in the right mood for photography. Taking photos can help you get in the right mood, I think, at least for me. And that's where I've sort of found myself now coming back. And I know we'll come on after the quiz as to what we're doing in the second half of the year. But I definitely feel it's more about, that whole just not worrying about it so much, not letting the pressures of everything. Because if you stop doing your hobbies, if you stop doing the things that let you escape your own head a little bit, then it can just get a bit worse. There we go. So I don't know, from a sporting analogy, I'd say tough, well, very fast start, then a really tough middle of the half where I lost my game plan entirely. And then a well-timed timeout. I don't know what sport we're playing. It's not soccer. Basketball. Great timeout was called by Matt Day. Got my head a bit better. And I'm excited about the second half. I think that's what
you got Matt Day as your coach. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Didn't want to name drop, guys. Didn't want to name drop, but that's kind of what happened. I mean, in fairness, everyone got the same advice. So sadly, it wasn't quite 1-to-1. There we go. I mean, there we are. We have our first halves. Let me just quickly check whether people have thrown up any photos of their own. So remember, if you want to upload or even add a hashtag that's already been done with just hashtag Analog Television. And here we go. It looks like Mel Robinson, who I've seen has thrown up a photo. Let me just quickly find the way to share that. And there we go. Mel has put up a photo of Whitley Bay. And it looks like it's shot on Lomo Lady Grey. So I don't know whether Mel has a story as to why that one in particular feels like a bit of a story of this half so far. But yeah, feel free to type away, Mel, and we'll read it out. Right then. Quiz time. Time for the quiz. So as we said at the start, this is your chance to win prizes, to win a film goodie bag. So Marina has gone back, watched every minute of every episode, and definitely not
lots of time.
hours of the last 2 weeks. That's all she's done, pretty much. Coming up with 5. Is it 5?
5, yeah. I
Okay.
think it was 5.
You look uncertain. That's good. We think 5 questions that are things that have happened or come up in analog television so far. Now, in order to make sure that people don't cheat, as if they would, we wouldn't believe it, what we'll ask you to do is, when she asks a question, type away in the comments, and then at the end we'll go through the answers. Whoever gets the most wins. There is a tiebreak if there's a draw, but you can't count an answer unless you typed it at the time. So me and Ribsy are going to be all over.
Ribsy, you're going to be watching as well,
Yeah, Ribsy is the chief enforcer of that, while I try and run the tech side. So when the question comes in, type it away, and then when we go through the answers, whoever has the most right, how well do you know analog television, will win. Is that right, Marina? Did I miss any of the rules?
Yep.
Okay.
So can I start with the first question then?
You please do.
Can I?
Is all yours.
All right, guys. So I'm quite excited for this. So the first question of this quiz would be, I think, an easier one, which is, who was our first guest of analog television? And the time goes now. Let's see who it was.
Good. How many of you watched, Ribsy? Have you gone back and watched them all? You know?
I've probably seen, I'd say, 70% of them.
Oh, that's good. I mean, in fairness,
I tuned in for the first thing, the 3-hour show, just out of curiosity, because I didn't really know about that show, that big yearly thing. So I was wondering what was going on, especially since coronavirus was wreaking havoc. And then I was like, this is very quirky, but I like it.
Quirky is a very polite word for what me and Graham did that day. That is true. Okay then, I can't quite see whether people are typing because there's a delay on what we see. But all right, I think we probably have given enough people time, Marina.
Cool. Excellent. So let's go to the second question, which is also, I think, is easier, I guess. Right, so who is the person who had the pleasure to meet M from Emotive and is still alive to tell? Who can be? Is that you, Paul?
No, I have never seen M live, and as you say, most people who do, he then kills because he's the super spy, lives in a volcano.
I see.
So there is one person. So if everyone doesn't know, M is the chap behind Emulsive, the brilliant film photography resource. Top secret Bond villain, lives in a volcano, kills people who see him. One person who has come on knows what he is.
One person. Just one person. I see.
Okay, next question maybe.
Oh, I see all the names. Let's see. Okay.
Names are flying in.
Alrighty, so the third question. I think that this one is quite difficult, I guess. And the most challenging, yeah. Who's the guest who was expelled from college? Who can be? Was it you, Paul? No.
No.
I've never been expelled.
I have not been expelled from college. In fairness, lots of people might have been expelled from college, but this is the person who mentioned it in another story.
I know who. Graham, I'm sure. Was it Graham?
No.
Sure.
He's been expelled.
Hamish, I'm sure. Oh, he'll go and wanna
He's
kill
been
me.
expelled from bars and pubs and cafes and normal decent society. Graham's been expelled from that, but I don't know whether it was college as well.
Shall we give a hint?
No.
No.
There's
I'm
lots
not
of
gonna get
people
mercy. No.
Okay.
Shall I then?
Yeah, I think that's enough time for people to
Excellent.
Yeah, there's definitely some
Exciting.
right answers flying in there.
Excellent.
Excellent. So I'm going to go to the next question. I think is the final one, the fifth one, which is including today. How many episodes of analog television we've done so far? And this, I think, could be a little bit tricky.
How many analog television?
Would you think? Like how many? 6.
Also, I think that's 4 questions. Is that 4 questions?
Hang on.
Yeah, I think we made.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, not the last question.
Next question is how many questions are in this quiz?
Sorry. Well, I mean, this is the 4th question. You see, come on, I just tricked you because to give you a little bit more time.
Perfect.
Alrighty. Sorry, guys. So yes, I think this is the last question.
I'm impressed with the speed of people on the chat here.
Yeah. Whoa.
It just like you see a slight delay and then boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay. I think will be enough then. Sorry, guys. So yes, definitely this is the 5th question. What was the film that Paul and Graham used on the first episode of Analog Television? Thing, to give you a hint, was a large format film, and they detail live about how to shoot a large format camera, and then they develop on spot as well, which was really interesting. And also Paul posted the photo, I think, in a really quick time. Was it like in 30 minutes? No, or less?
I think it was an hour, so we're trying to set up the shoot to the photo on Instagram in an hour. And when we did that, we forgot. Because when you work it out, you're like, that's fine, because you scan like this, you do this. And then you remember drying. So
oh yeah,
Graham like dried it on a cloth or something, like while Rachel was just like crying in the comments, like, what are you doing to it? Like
that reminds me, every time we did the London camera project walks, I was notorious for within like 2 to 3 hours of leaving the group, I had something from that walk already posted on Instagram.
That is nice.
I apparently had nothing better to do after these walks, but go home and like instantly develop.
That is amazing. Okay, we've had lots of people guessing, so I think that's your 5 questions.
Yes, it was 5. This was the last question. Yep. All righty.
Okay, do you want to go through the answers? Should we do it like that?
Shall we?
Mm-hmm. So again, make sure people have written it before you do it. You need to count it only if you've written it. This is your last chance to just write any other answers before we then lock the chat. I mean, we can't do that. I don't know how to do that. But Ribsy will lock the chat in his mind and he'll know. All right then, Marina, go through it then. Question 1, what's the answer? Well, what was the question?
Who was our first guest? And who was our first guest, Paul?
So the first guest was Andrew Church. So we did it as a... so the first episode, Graham wasn't really a guest because he was starting it with me. We also had Rob, wasn't really a guest. He was the guy whose studio we were in, who said, you can have the studio as long as you don't involve me and I can do some work. And we stayed there for 3 hours and made him like go on camera. But he wasn't really a guest either. Andrew Church from Kodak was the first official guest. That's nice. I'll give you Kodak, probably.
Yeah, there was definitely a few Kodaks in there, but no name dropping.
The second question was, who is the person who had the pleasure to meet M from Emoted and Still Life to Tell? Which was Hamish. Yes, it was. I saw many Hamish there, so I think
there's definitely a lot of 2 for 2 so far. There's like 4 or 5 people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's people in the game.
Yeah.
Right. So the next question was, who's the guest who was expelled from college? And I think that was the episode when you were there, Ribsy.
Yeah,
right?
we first met Ribsy. Yeah.
So was Tina.
She told us that story like in the middle of she just mentioned it in passing, and it was one of those things where I was like, hang on, what? And then she'd already moved on and I forgot to come back to it. So there's probably a great story. We'll have to get it back.
Right. So the next one was what was the film that Paul and Graham used on the first analog television episode, which was the 4x5 sheet? And it was the HP5, guys.
I'm not sure it is now.
Hang on. Was it? Was it not?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Did we go back and check? Because we sort of talked about this and then we didn't. Hang on. It's all right. We can look at this live because I did put it on Instagram and I must have tagged it.
Hang on. I really thought it was HP5.
Curveball right there. Well, in the answers, people obviously
said Fomapan 100.
Fomapan and HP5.
Yeah, Fomapan 200. Fomapan 200.
Was it? I thought it was HP5. Really sorry, guys. Too.
That's all right. You're the quizmaster. You can be like, yeah, it was always Fomapan.
Oh yes, Sam Cornwell was actually right. I checked the Instagram. It was Fomapan 200. Yes, you're right.
Correct.
Excellent. So
what was question 4? We're missing an answer again.
Including today.
Yes.
How many episodes of analog television we've done so far? So the answer is, including today, is 16 episodes. I think I've seen some here.
Front runner right now.
Yeah.
Cherylee, I think is 444 now.
Right,
Yeah.
we've done 5, haven't we?
Sorry.
Have we done all of them? We've done 5.
Yeah, we've done 5.
Oh well. So okay then. So if people want to type in, so is it decided? Do we have a clear winner with Cherylee?
I think so. Well, we have to check it later, but yes, I think so.
Excellent. Well done, Cherylee. Let's have the applause again. Yeah, there we go.
Cherylee, congratulations.
Outstanding. I mean, we have seen you on everyone. Thank you so much. It is an absolute pleasure to spend another evening with you. So I will ping you afterwards, and we will together select some films that you'd like in a little goodie bag. I think you are staying with a family friend at the moment, and I think you've converted one of their rooms to a dark room. So you can choose whichever one makes most sense. Brilliant. Well done, Marina.
Yeah, thank you.
One thing as well before we move on to the thing. So we had so Mel did type in, but unfortunately it came through just after. So let me just go back and find what Mel was talking about. So a reminder of the photo that she put in, and let's have put it up here. So Mel's saying this is the first intentional role. So maybe she did a test role. She shot on the M645. It was the last thing that her dad bought for her before he died. She's had it for 6 or 7 years and never used it. So that sounds amazing, Mel, that you've now been able to take it out. I mean, that photo is incredible. And then shot on lomography, developed yourself, it looks like, with the monobath as well. So thank you so much for sharing it, and that is absolutely lovely. Okay then, we move on to the second half. So we've rested, we've had some refreshments, we've had a team talk, maybe from Matt Day, maybe not, who knows. Marina, what have you got on your mind? What do you want to do over the next 6 months? What do you want to achieve? What's your goals for the rest of 2020?
So, well, for me, obviously, as I have If We Film as well, and, I'm constantly trying to think about new ideas and, just put in some content, fresh content every time. And in my case, from the part of If We Film, I like to do more videos, and showing a lot of things. So obviously I want to do online courses as well. But I want to also because I always have been from these 2 years quite busy from If We Film, but I like to also focus on my artistic point of view, me as a photographer as well. And I left half a project that I was doing with a girl before the lockdown And I just, I think, it's going to be a little bit about the mental health, which I already mentioned, I think, one of our lives before, like many, I think 2 months ago. But yeah, I like to continue with that project, and also, I don't know, to do, I don't know if it could be possible an exhibition, but I always wanted to do an exhibition, especially with the people that I like to meet in London, because I've never even met you in person, Paul, for example, or even you, Ribs. So I met Sarah Smith the other day.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and I really want to. I was actually talking with Sarah, and I said to her, look, we should do like a group photo exhibition. So that's one of my goals, like to actually do something with my photographs, because of the this imposter scene that I mentioned before. I haven't actually had the chance to to take care of my photographs as they deserve. So yeah, I think, I don't know, even though that this situation happened, I think that this is going to be my year in terms of like actually like do something with my work.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my.
We talked obviously back in January, and this year was going to be the year of if we film in-person courses, the workshops, like, so I think that's getting back on that. But no, that sounds really good. I mean, meeting people in general as a goal in the second half.
Yeah, year. It was actually like very weird, like when meeting Sarah. It was like, because he's a person I've been speaking with like a lot of time, but like through messages, and I actually like, you are real. So
I know, and when I saw the photo on Instagram, I was like, oh my god, like you guys are in the same frame.
Yeah, placed together.
Is this Photoshop? Is this? How are you in the same picture? This is crazy.
And you know what? After that, when I met Sarah, I thought like how important it's actually like keep like that community, but like in real life, like in life, like how important was for me to actually like interact with someone in the same place, the same room, and actually talking about the projects that we're going to do, and talking obviously about film photography. And I was like, yeah, I kind of missed that, honestly. So
and did you do a cafe table with all your cameras, Instagram shot?
Oh yes, we did.
Oh, of course. Okay, good.
We did. I haven't posted because I was thinking like, shall I? But I did a story.
Okay, perfect. There we go. No, that's fantastic. So it's getting back onto it's getting back onto projects and possibly exhibiting and the workshops. And you are planning from the sort of the business side and the courses. You are looking at that then happening in the next couple of months, right?
Yeah, actually, I'm planning to do finally the next workshop in the middle of August. Okay. But I'm still deciding actually where, because due to the situation, it's a little bit difficult to find a place where I can be with 4 people, well, 5 including myself. So yeah, but it's definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
But I don't know when exactly.
Well, even if not, Cherylee said what she's hearing is field trip to Bristol to meet Marina.
Please come to Bristol.
we hire a big school bus. We leave one seat between each other for safety, and then you can host us. So Sarah came to Bristol, is that right? And you showed her.
Yeah, she came to Bristol with her mum. So yeah.
Lovely. Ribs, what have you got in the second half?
Yeah, so I'm looking to kind of get back to the roots of everything, which is always people-oriented.
Whoa, the roots of everything.
That's a massive
project.
I guess that came out kind of deep. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going back to New York City for a couple weeks. Finally, I haven't been back home to New York in ages, so I'm very excited for that. Definitely going to be shooting a lot, just interacting with like my autopilot kind of senses being back in the city. So very excited about that. Not exactly sure what I'm going to be shooting, but definitely going to make some content, kind of do a couple different types of things. And then when I get back to London, I do have to quarantine, of course, for 2 weeks. And then after that, though, I'm going to be hopefully within the UK, doing a bit more kind of moving around as well. And then honestly, the thing I'm most excited for though is the photo walks. I was actually texting Rob not too long ago asking when is the next. No official anything yet, but definitely I guess some things are percolating. But I can't wait to just like hang out with everyone, just be in the same room, or not in the same room, I guess, outdoors, let's say. But yeah, I just miss everyone. I miss the scene. I miss the culture. So very excited about that. That's kind of what I mean by back to basics. I just want to get back to, the one of my favorite parts of film photography, which is the community aspect. So definitely looking forward to that.
No, and that does feel like it can't be that far away. Like,
yeah.
Again, we probably won't be able to swap lenses and fondle each other's shutter levers, so to speak, as much as photo walks of last year. But yeah, I think we've all moved mentally on from that, and it does feel like a nice weather. And as you say, Marina, if you can do a course that again is appropriate and distanced and things, then without being crazy, it feels like that's very manageable. Oh, that's really exciting. Cool. So and also people, please keep typing away as well. Let us know what you guys are up to as well, apart from the Bristol massive trip to Marina. So my plan. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and keep the mentality of not worrying too much, but I'm going to start trying to layer a few projects and things on. And for me, that's quite a few things. So I'm in a position where I've been lucky enough to either get a couple of new cameras or new films recently, and they just haven't gone through the right amount. So I've actually got a few things here. So at the moment, these are the projects I signed up for at the moment. Like, I just need to start some of them. Number one. In the Canon, this is some Vision 200T that Ben Mills, who I can see on the comments, has sent. So this is the first time I've shot Vision film. After Hussein was talking about it a few weeks ago, first time I've shot unadulterated cine film in 35mm. That's now loaded. I loaded it up. I got excited. I went for a walk. It was grey the whole time. I got back. It immediately became sunny. That is the life of being in England. So finishing that roll and maybe even learning to dev it at home, having this whole Remjet in the sync conversation. Ribs is like, yeah, easy man, don't worry about it. So that's one. That's one thing. People might have seen on Instagram the other day this little device. So it's a pinhole camera.
I have that exact camera. Great.
Really?
Yeah. There we go. So I mean. So Dora Goodman, this is a skewer. You can either buy them like these, like pre-packaged, or I think you download the files and you can 3D print yourself. I think you still pay, but
that's the one that you've been setting up.
That I bought. So it comes.
You show us on your stories.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so last Sunday I think I sat with a few glasses of wine, which might have been why I super glued my fingers together at one point. Anyway, so I'd love to put some film through this now. So Dora sent it to me asking for some feedback on the build, which I've done, but now I want to see it in 35mm pinhole. I mean, one of the interesting things is the back's curved. Mm-hmm. So with a lot of pinholes, especially when it's sort of the panoramic 35mm, you get a lot of distortion at the ends, but the theory is that because it's curved, you get a cleaner image. So I'm excited about that. A-Cross 2, I haven't shot A-Cross 2 when we're on pinhole. So that has got to go through a pinhole long exposure. And then finally, people who, again, are on Twitter might be aware of another challenge that goes around. That is, the polite version. Well, let's say it starts with sh and finishes with itty camera challenge. So the idea is that you find a terrible camera and you shoot photos with it. And I can't remember when. It's run by a really funny guy. Like, the stuff he posts is just very film photography in jokes and things, but hilarious. Mm-hmm. And I found a camera the other day that I think is going to be perfect. So I just want to show you guys. Actually, I'll go full screen. I'll show you guys this. So this is going to be a camera that I want to put through. So first of all, it is called Le Click.
Le Click.
Which is obviously...
That's like... Would it be from France? Or...
Well, it's very premium, clearly, because it's fancy. It is actually... I don't know if you can see this. It's got Japan optics, so not Japanese optics, just Japan optics.
Japan.
I don't know again whether that's some chap called like Mr. Japan just made it. It advertises the fact it's focus free, like that's a a good thing.
Focus free. Okay.
Yeah. But the reason that I think this is going to elevate my shitty photography game to another level is because this, if people know this, it's called the caption camera. Does everyone know how like date and time stamps are done on this kind of camera? Like these visions. So basically what you get is you have a little device in the back that's tied up to the flash that then lights LEDs, very, very small amount of energy, burns the date and time on. This camera, rather than date or time, has some options. Now, I've got two cameras here, and I've hold it up here so people can see it. You can imprint on it, happy birthday, happy anniversary.
No way!
It's a boy, it's a girl,
It's a boy.
party time, bon voyage, welcome home.
Ridiculous.
So,
You know what though? That's creative. Like I'm not even mad at that.
and it's got 12, so you can legitimately like go through each of the captions 3 times in one roll of film. And I can just see.
Hilarious. Where did you find it?
So there was a small instance of drunken eBaying about a week ago.
Okay.
On a job lot, and 8 cameras for £15, 2 of which were digital.
Oh, that's cheap.
They went straight. They were like 4 megapixel Sony camera or whatever. No, not even that. I think it was 2. That went in the bin. Sorry, recycling, to be clear. And then there was a disc camera, which again I've never had before. Can't imagine it being very used. But yeah, there was Leclerc was part of it. I mean, there was also some cool things in it as well, like a nice 110 camera and a point and shoot.
Someone on the comments said now the price is going to go up of the Leclerc, and I totally agree.
Yeah.
What, from
Now-
3p to 5p? Yeah.
Yo,
I mean, in fairness, if anyone also wants to get a Leclerc, and we can do like double exposure rolls. I'll do one. You do it. We turn it over and do a different caption. I mean, I don't know why you would buy a camera that can imprint "It's a boy" on it.
I'm quite curious about who made that camera, or a little bit of history behind that camera.
Yeah, lots of people are making the freak out, les clics. I mean, what baffles me is that someone's patented the bloody thing. So someone said, you know what? Before anyone else steals this idea, I'd better lock down the money. Amazing. Okay, so Mel, yes, please send me disc film. I will actually shoot it because the camera actually does look in good nick. It's just disc film.
And do you have any film in mind that you're going to use? Are you going to use any experimental film, like us? I don't know. Imagine like using a Remjet film and it's a boy or something.
I mean, as soon as I see Leclerc, I want to put some Berger through it, just because a French film through Leclerc, and also it's a premium film, which I think is ridiculous. I don't know. What do you think, Ribs? What would you shoot Leclerc with?
Oh man, that's a great question. I think I would definitely get some expired film. Just see what's the most obscure, random expired film I can find on eBay.
Yeah, because then you can never blame the camera. You're like, oh man, the camera would have taken a great
What about a
photo.
soup film?
Oh, the film let it down. It's Japan optics. Marina, what do you think? What would you shoot?
No, I was thinking like, what about a film that has been souped? Like, I don't know. And then it's a boy. Happy birthday!
Yes, we could soup this. Oh my gosh, yeah.
So many possibilities now.
Or I might offend everyone and shoot like Ektachrome through it. I'm not sure it'll cope with that. I'm not sure I can cope. It's focus free. What are the odds that it's also exposure dodgy?
Exposure free as well.
Yeah, exactly. Exposure free. There we go. Oh, here we go. Elise Riodien has expired film bought in France when they were a kid. This could be things coming together.
Whoa!
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes, that's provoked a lot of excitement. I mean, it's a fantastic camera. It will be the most disappointing thing ever if It's a Boy doesn't work. But we will see. All right then, 9 o'clock. We have stayed on time. This is good. Well, first of all, huge thanks to everyone who's got involved. Thanks so much, Mel, obviously for sharing photos. If you guys want to share photos after us as well, then we'd love to see them. Use the hashtag Analogue Television, and we might review them at the start of next week, just with a little bit of story about why this photo means something to you in 2020, or signifies something, or even like we've talked about, signifies the change of something or a promise of a project in the future. I obviously promise that Le Clique will not just be for Twitter and that challenge, although obviously I have high hopes of winning that, but also will be on Instagram as well and shared. Thank you so much for joining in. If you guys have any thoughts, ideas, feedback on season 2 so far versus season 1, anything you really want us to keep from season 1, anything that you'd want us to try in season 2, we're very open to this. Or what we're trying to do is we're just trying to create something that, now we're out of lockdown, that whole just turn up and having a chat was brilliant, but we want to try and be a little bit more, I think, helpful and focused for people. People are still talking about Le Clique in the comments.
Mel G. Robinson said, focus free is just another way to say blurry. That's spot on.
That is true.
It's the pinhole camera. They're just not telling you.
Exactly. It's got this incredible small aperture. Everything's in sort of focus. I mean, why not? Please give us any feedback. We really enjoy doing this. We want to keep going.
Yep.
Next week, we don't have the topical theme yet. I think we're going to stay online a little bit after we shut down now and get it sorted. What we will do, as I say, is bring guests on as relevant to a topic. We'd love to keep it with competitions, with contributions as well from you guys. And that's it from me. Marina, Ribs, any last thoughts on 2020? Oh, here we go. What about a motto? So we've had Matt Day's Document Your Life. We've had Le Clique's Focus Free. I'm going to go with Focus Free as my motto for 2020. What do you think your motto is going to be?
I see. In my case, it would be let's keep kicking the ass of Mr. Imposter Syndrome.
Nice. All right. Love it. Let's keep kicking the ass of Mr. Imposter Syndrome. Yep, perfect. Ribs.
I would say I'm going to go on the keep route as well. I'd say keep messing things up.
Keep messing things up.
Nice
Specifically in your bathroom. Not in a weird way. In a way. Yes.
I have no comment. We'll leave it at that.
Wait! Keep messing up your bathroom. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Thank you. We will see you next week for another episode. Ciao.
No pleasure. Bye-bye.